Hi, this is Danny Vieira, and today at our Risen School, in our medical missionary training, we're going to do some practical demonstrations on hydrotherapy and how we can use water to relieve pain, inflammation, for healing, and even for cleansing. So I just want to begin by saying years ago, I was impressed to go to Weimar. I'd never been to Weimar. And I woke up and I said to my wife, we got to go to Weimar. She goes, for what? I said, I don't know. We'll find out when we get there. So we went to Weimar. We're staying in the inn there. And I looked at a newsletter that came out, and there was an advertisement for some of the graduates wanting placement in vegetarian restaurants, health food stores, wellness centers. And there was one there, Jody Overfield, and I looked at it, and I was looking for an employee to help in our health food store and our restaurant, exactly what she was asking for. And I yelled out, I was in the bathroom, and I yelled out, I found the reason why we're here. So I made an appointment to meet with her, but in the meantime, we got to use the facility, and we got massages. And then they said, would you like a contrast shower? Contrast. And I said, sure. Well, there was 16 water heads and a fire hose, and they're going up and down your back, pulling that fire hose, and you're going, oh, this feels great, with 16 shower heads on you. And they would do hot and cold. And so it's really cool how you can use water therapy in the process of healing, relaxing, flushing, cleansing, as I said. But in your Risen binders on page 27, okay, we have one page there on hydrotherapy, so you'll have some understanding what it's good for. But hydrotherapy is part of medicine, and particularly of occupational therapy and physiotherapy, that involves the use of water for pain relief and for treatment. So we all know that if we had a headache or we sprained our ankle, they always say put ice. Ice can slow down the inflammation, it can help with the pain. So you can use it on your head, all right? I did an illustration once where they were showing, it was kind of funny. I had saw where for headaches, they had a half of a watermelon rind, cut out the watermelon, and it was in the fridge, getting really cold, and so you put it on your head. It wrapped around your head. So you use what you got, if you need to. But this is great for slowing down the pain of sports injury. You've hurt yourself. Okay, that's very important there. The other thing is steam. So I have over here a tea kettle getting nice and hot. And I'll show you this by putting something simple. Who can I get over here? Nellie? Come over here a second. But you can improvise, and you can do this on the stove as well. But see the steam coming off that water? So I'm taking some eucalyptus oil. We'll put in a little bit of that. So now you got a little bit of aromatherapy going on there. And you get yourself a towel. And I'll move it right over here for you, see? And this is just something so basic, so easy. Watch this. We just make a little tent over her head. Now bend over. See, and breathe in those fumes. How's that? You getting them?
Good, yeah.
Very strong. Getting a great aromatherapy there. Breathing that eucalyptus. Listen to her. Is it strong? Somebody else want to try it?
Sure.
Yeah, come on. Is it strong?
Yes.
Okay, Elizabeth. Here. There. Just bend over. See that?
Mm-hmm.
That's awesome. So simple. And so by just taking some boiling water, putting it into a pot.
Not strong.
Isn't that? Anyone else want to try? Just taking that eucalyptus, so you just pass it over.
Now.
Isn't that something?
Yeah.
Really works. Very easy, very simple. So eucalyptus is great. Ellen G. White talks about the use of eucalyptus for colds, coughs, sore throats, this type of thing. So always have some eucalyptus on hand. How's that feel there?
It helps for congestion too.
Yeah, for your lungs, congestion, right? So there's one form of just using water in the form of steam. steam rooms, right? That's another way of perspiring and helping the body eliminate impurities through the skin. So you got steam. I'm going to show you a fomentation here, but I want to read a little bit more first. It says in your manual, the term encompasses a broad range of approaches and therapeutic methods that take advantage of the physical properties of water, okay, for therapeutic purposes to stimulate blood circulation and treat the symptoms of certain diseases. So it's going to stimulate circulation. So you learn if you put hot on the body, it's going to draw blood. You put cold, it drives the blood deeper in. So you're moving the blood to the surface, back and forth. So you're increasing circulation. And also there's different methods of using water to treat illness. Baths is a very basic one. A nice hot baths. And what do I have here? I have Epsom salts, which is magnesium here. So these Epsom salts are very relaxing to the muscles. Also, it helps in detoxification. So a nice hot bath, and I'll throw in a couple pounds of Epsom salts in a nice hot bath, stir it up in there, and just go in there and relax. And what kind of tea would you drink if you wanted to relax in the bathtub and you have...
Chamomile.
I do a chamomile. I really would. I think a chamomile is a very gentle, that's going to be very relaxing to you, and it tastes good. All right. So some Epsom salts in hot water, a nice bath. It talks about half baths, sitz baths, foot baths, sponge bath, vapor bath, fever baths, and we do cold sheet treatments here, right? Then you can do compresses. That's heating compresses that you can use to the throat, the sinuses, the boils. I used to get boils when I was young. I got a boil on my lip, and they were taking the pictures for the class, and I got this big volcano of pus on my lip. Then I had one right at my knee joint here, and they're doing the President's Physical Fitness Contest, and I can't move. And I had one on my abdomen, and I can't do the sit-ups. And my mother used to say, where's he getting these boils? So she would scrub the shower floor. She's got on gloves, disinfecting, Lysol everywhere. But I don't think it was on the floor. I don't think it was around the toilet. I don't think that's where I was getting it. You know where I think I was getting it? Every Tuesday I would go with my mother to the butcher shop when I was a little boy from an Italian family. And we'd go in, and there were these Oriental butchers and all this meat. And he'd reach and give me a raw hot dog. And he'd hand me an old-fashioned wiener to keep the little boy happy while Mommy buys all the meat. And what would she get? We'd get a whole salami, hanging. And I used to love salami. I would get the salami, and I'd eat it with the white moldy part still around it. Oh, I like that. Then we'd fry it, and the whole room would be filled with smoke. Total carcinogenic. And I'm sitting there, fried salami. Then she'd buy a big round thing of bologna. And then mortadella and pork chops and veal roasts. Then the big thing of jack cheese and then American cheese. And we had so much meat. And I would get in there, and I'd always be happy on Tuesday because I'd make myself like a deli sandwich, mortadella, salami, bologna, even blood sausage, deep red blood sausage. Well, the boils were coming because my blood was poisoned. And you know what I think it was? The pork. I really do. And the body was trying to look for, what did I teach you? A vicarious elimination. That if it can't eliminate the poison through the normal channels of elimination, it's going to create another outlet. And in this case, it was a boil. And when they bust open and the core comes out, but I'll never forget the doctor. What would he say to me? He says, Danny, what you need to do is get yourself a little pot. And what would you do? You'd put in a lot of hot water again. You get the towel very hot, okay? And then say your boil was here. You'd put this hot towel to it and it would kind of burn, but it always worked. You know what it would do? It would draw it right to the surface because I needed to get a head on it so it would finally break open and drain itself. Once I had one on my knee, he came in, the doctor, had a tube, and he went in, he lanced it first and stuck the tube down inside the boil to drain it. So I said, I'll put on my hot towel. Then they'd even use a black salve because it was a drawing salve. It wasn't the black salve that goes through and eats like the Canex. It was a drawing salve. So here you have hot compresses, okay? Even if somebody's got cramping, Dr. Schultz always taught us, put heat there. I get more people here with cramping in the stomach. You just put on a hot water bottle or the thermophor and they relax and it goes away. Maybe give them some nerve formula with the valerian in it, some magnesium, relax it down. Then you have ice applications, as I showed you, a simple ice application in this form. And you leave it on, 20 minutes on, 20 minutes off. Unless you've had a vasectomy. Then you leave it on all night long. I remember I had some problems there. And it bled. And my body was full of blood. And he said, nothing you do, you leave it alone, it will reabsorb. Put an ice pack on it. I didn't take that ice pack off, I want to tell you, in that situation. So you got the ice for pain, inflammation. How about irrigation? Water for irrigation. Do we have an enema bag around? Do you have one here? So you use a simple enema bag. We've talked a lot about hydrotherapy with colon hydrotherapy. And here's an enema bag here that I'll just show you real quick again. You don't, yeah, thank you, Blanca. Perfect. All right, so the enema bag, what's going inside?
Hot water.
Warm water. Warm water. Careful, you never want to burn yourself. In fact, when I'm putting water in an enema, I always test it to my wrist or so. I don't want it too hot where it's going to burn or cause it any problems. But an enema bag is a good form of hydrotherapy. What are you doing? You're using water to clean the colon out from the inside. So imagine you got this here, and that's very effective. So there's enemas using water, coffee enemas. I've even put in oil. Did you know that? I had a little boy that was all constipated. She says, I can't get him to go. And I said, well, let's put a little bit of olive oil in here and some water and shook it up and got it in and got it slippery, got it moving, and all came out. But remember the soapy water enema? That's an easy one that you can do. Bentonite clay, I've even put colloidal silver. I've put in grapefruit seed extract. So there's different things you can put with the enema bag, but there's another form of hydrotherapy.
How about garlic, Annie?
Garlic, I boil it and put the water in,
Okay.
not the garlic.
How many cloves per quart, per se?
It would depend. If I was in a situation, I'd probably put in maybe 10 cloves, and I would bring it to a boil, let it simmer 15 minutes, and drain it, and use that water in there.
Okay.
Probably 10 cloves.
For fever?
Fever would not be hot. I wouldn't use garlic rectally. I would use cool water. Remember, if they have a fever,
Okay.
you want to use cool water because you're trying to lower the temperature in the body, not raise it with something hot like that.
Yeah.
You can take the garlic internally as an antibiotic.
Okay, and then do cool water.
I do a cool water enema, just plain water,
Okay.
because you're just trying to bring the fever down, so that always works well. So we showed the tent. Okay, you can make tents with the towels for aromatherapy. What about an emetic? Something to try to make someone vomit. Can you use water that way? Yeah. And in here it says lots of salt and water. Well, we know the ratios that is stay down. So I would just say you put a number of couple tablespoons of salt in a glass of water and drink it down, they'll probably puke that right up, okay? Steam rooms, very nice. I told you I'm in steam rooms and saunas a couple times a day, many times. I love getting in there. I love getting in the sauna. And one little trick in the sauna is you just get a rag or a little towel like this, and you know you have the emitter, right, in the sauna that all the steam comes out of. So what I do is I get a wet rag and eucalyptus and set it by the emitter. So when all the steam comes out, it fills the room, right? It works very effectively in there to do it that simply. So another book that I really like that shows you some of these remedies, home remedies here. You know, somebody can get just that chair and set it out in the middle of the room, and somebody have a seat inside that chair. I want to just show you something that if you didn't have a steam room, you wanted to improvise, and let's see if I find the page, improvise and create kind of a steam setting. You can make yourself a little Russian bath right there. Blanca, you want to come here a minute? Please. And get that burner. See, what you do is you get a burner, you put it underneath her chair. Somebody want to find me the picture of where they're putting the sheet around the person under in the chair. So see this? You can get single burner electrics. So you take this carefully and you put it under here, right? Now you want a single burner. You don't want the double because you're going to wrap a sheet around there. But then you could put eucalyptus and water under here, right? And so that's turning on. It's boiling. You got the eucalyptus in there. It's creating steam. You want to help me? Mm-hmm. Let's go behind her.
Is this the one you're looking for?
It shows just like this picture of a woman sitting in a chair with a big sheet going around her, just like this. Okay? See, look at this. See? What are we creating here?
A Russian steam bath.
Russian steam bath. Again.
Only 3 pages there.
Okay, then you can take a towel. Here, you're not gonna,
Yeah,
you can find it?
I found 3 different pages, but one of the
Well,
pictures.
the picture is exactly like this, and it should be in there. If not, maybe it's that other book then, Martine. Okay, look, here's one way you can lock the steam from, Susie, you want to tuck that in?
Sure.
Just, you can pin it. You got that? Now watch this. Let's be real nice to this lady. How about we do this too? Huh? Somebody want to take her socks off? So this is a nice little massage and heat. So we can keep the water nice and warm this way. So look at this.
That feels good.
Isn't that great? And I tuck it under. Susie, let's do that. So pull your, isn't that great? How's that feel?
Wonderful.
Okay. Another thing you can be doing for her, excuse me, is, can you give me, Blanca? I lost my wingman, all right? Can you grab me a couple white of these small towels back there? They just look a little better than this old rag. But you want to get yourself a nice towel. Hand me that white one there in the meantime. And what you're going to do here is you can just get some water and some, where'd my ice go? Oh, she must have it in here. Okay, so we'll just use some ice and water. Ice water here. There we go. So now, what do you got? Keep her nice and cool on her head while she's getting really hot.
So the burner's
The burner's on. It's creating the steam. Oh, look at that. That's wonderful. Isn't that great? What it looks like right here. So she's getting all the steam coming up from the bottom. And so this is a great way to do this right here. You don't have a steam room. You don't have access to a steam room. Does it kind of feel comfortable there?
Very, very comforting.
For maybe 20 minutes, how long? Half an hour?
You know, it depends what you're trying to achieve. You want to get her sweating, obviously. So the whole thing, you may be here 30 minutes, you may be here 45 minutes. So again, if somebody, you know, you needed them to sweat and to perspire, say they did have a fever or whatever, you know, and you really want to create that fever to go up a little and to perspire, steam is a great way to purify the body and to try to purify the blood. So in this case, you know, this person here, you know, Dr. Schultz always taught us echinacea. Echinacea. So you have garlic, you have echinacea. Maybe you give her a nice cup of warm red clover tea. You know, just something that's blood purifying at this time. So this is a great way too. I'm sorry. And you can also always put cold and apply cold to the back of the neck. Always feels nice as well. So you can have cold compresses there. So this is very practical, very easy. So you see a Russian steam bath. You see something so easy to do. Look at that. And that little nice hot foot bath. Another thing for a hot foot bath, if you were going to use, don't take it out yet.
Oh,
If you had let's say someone with a headache, some standard hydrotherapy remedy would be, again, ice pack. Grab me the blue. Yeah, but see, this is going to be cold. So now what are we doing? We're knocking the blood away from the head. And the heat on her feet with the hot water is drawing the blood down to her lower extremities away from her head. So this can relieve some of the blood and some of the headache. So this is a great simple way to do this, you know. Some white willow bark, natural aspirin. It's another thing that you could do at this time. And you always want to make your patient feel comfortable. Talk to them. Nice tone of voice. Make them feel good. Ask them, you know, how are you feeling? Everything okay? Are you dizzy? Any pains? Anything going on that I need to know? No. And so a lot of time they just need rest, just a little assistance. Remember what we learned from Ellen White. We need to learn to assist nature in the healing of the patient. So with the water therapies, you're warming up the body, you're moving the circulation. You can go into a shower and put it as hot as you can without burning your skin and twirl around for about 2.5, 3 minutes. Get hot, hot, hot. And then you go as cold as you can go. And you go contrast, hot, cold. So now again, you're stimulating the blood. You're moving the blood. You can do it 7 times. Dr. Schultz told us that. Do it 7 times. Okay, hot and cold, hot and cold, hot and cold. 7 times. So that's good as well. So, you all better now?
oh yeah. Awesome.
But Epsom salts, again, is muscle relaxant. So, why don't you help her dry off? We're going to use. So, the last thing that I want to show you now is a fomentation. These are hot and cold fomentations that you're going to alternate on somebody who has, let's say, congestion in the lung. So I need another volunteer. And this time, let's leave that there.
Okay.
And just move this chair, and you want to get that out of the way there for me. All right, so the next demo, who wants to do it?
I'll do it.
Martine, I think. I need someone who has bare skin here so we can put on the friction rub. You want to do it?
Sure.
Okay. I want you to lay on your back. Elizabeth, you can assist me a little. Grab me a pillow for her head. And also, I need your feet in here. Yeah. And then I want, yeah. Okay. Pillow. Let's get her nice and comfortable. Let's get her body lined up straight. Okay. And a blanket. If somebody can fetch me a blanket. Now what we're going to do here, and I'm going to need Susie to help me. Somebody get me a blanket.
Can I do this?
Yeah, that'd be okay. But right now, we're gonna have a cold friction rub here. So I'll work from her right here. So George, it's over there. So what you're achieving here is you're gonna alternate hot and cold. So what I like to do on the person is start like this. Okay, start like this. Okay, now I'm going to be putting hot compresses here for a hot fomentation. Now the problem is, would you put it in the microwave and set it about 3.5 minutes or so? We're going to be putting it on her chest. She has chest congestion. So we want to move the blood. We want to break up the congestion. So we're going to bring out a very hot towel.
Start with heat.
Yeah, you're going to always start with the heat, and you're going to end with the cold. Got a nice hot towel.
Wow.
Okay? So what I would do, see this? We're trying to get it to this area of her body. Okay, now tell me, does that feel too hot? No? You sure? Because it's going to heat up here. Okay, so this is what you're doing here, right? And then you can contain the heat inside by doing that. Something as simple as this. So now this, you're going to put on,
My own pressure.
yeah, you can put a little pressure there. Tell me if it gets too hot. You're all right?
Yeah.
All right. Does it feel good? Is it getting warm?
Yep.
See, it's doing its job. And then you're going to see it, the skin's going to get nice and red. That means your blood's coming to the surface there is what you want to do. So you got this in here. You're warm. She's warm here. It's very peaceful. My mother, she had 20% lung capacity in one lung and the other one was failing. She was dying. She had tuberculosis at 15 years old and went to Bret Hart Sanitarium years ago. They didn't think she was going to make it. So when she was failing it later in life and I was over there with her, poor dear, you know, hospice was there, she's on morphine. And I'd come over and I'd do these hot and cold fomentations on her. And she'd smile. Oh, I feel so good. I love these. And she gave me a card. I came over one day and she gave me a card. She says, I love your salads. I love your soups you bring me. I love how you read to me. I love your fomentations. And she listed all these things, and fomentations was in there about 3 times. She said, would you do one of those on me? It just makes me relax and feel so good. So you'd leave that on 3 minutes, and I don't have to leave it all the way. And then what you would do is you would uncover her, take it off, right? I can set it aside. This one's pretty hot still, but you immediately come in, and notice I just have ice and water and a little hand towel here. And you want to create in this area is just start a friction rub, okay? And then as you do this, you've had such hot there, it's already turning red, starting to change color. And so you do this 3 times, right? And then I would come back with the hot towel, and we got another one cooking over there. You know, and I might just hit it in this area even like this, right? So it's a simple remedy. I like what Dr. Schultz taught us in his course too. He said, you know, people, they don't get aggressive enough. We need to think, you know, natural emergency room sometimes, have that mentality. And he says you get busy. And he says you try something. And if it doesn't work, then you try something else. But you don't quit trying. You don't give up. And I like that philosophy. I like that, how he did that. So this is going to stay on another 3 minutes. Again, you would take it off her, remove it from her. You'd come in with your cold friction, rub again. And you'd be.
Can you do this on infants and children?
You can do it on children, yeah. But, you know, she's a woman, I'm a man, and, you know, if another woman's there in your privacy, you can do more area, definitely. Okay? How much time on that one?
You're almost done.
Why don't you bring it to me, please? Okay, so. Is it steamy?
Oh, yeah.
Oh, yeah. So we got a nice hot one coming. See, if I'm doing this in boiling water for me, it's pretty tough sometimes to handle it. It's just burning hot. So you're using
Tongs.
tongs. You know, is that too hot?
Not yet.
Okay. So we can do that. You can put a blanket over her, depending what's going on. Keep asking her how she is. You can give her some warm tea again. If you give warm tea during a treatment like this, they're going to sweat that much quicker and that much more. So you're heating them from the outside and the inside. And that's so effective that way. You know, I could get maybe creative sometime, you know, and do this. And I got some warm tea I'm sucking on, and I got a hot enema going in at the same time. 3 at once. Wonder what would happen in that case. Don't try it at home. Consult your physician first. Ask him what he thinks. How's that feel?
Good.
Yeah? All right. So always, whenever you're working with people too, never forget to pray with them. It's so important because God is the healer, isn't he? And what's an illustration or one story in the Bible where there was water therapy prescribed for healing?
Name it.
What did God tell him to do?
Dipped in the river 7 times.
7 times. And what was his disease?
Leprosy, isn't it?
Leprosy. Did it work?
Yep.
So it was a water therapy. So see that? You can end with the cold like that. And you just make sure she's been comfortable. You know, you can even, break up some of the congestion. Some cupping.
I thought that was percussing.
Percussion. Okay, and I'm going to pray with her too. So anyway, Father, thank you so much for Martine. I pray that you will assist us in the healing here of her lung congestion to relieve it. And Father, we also thank you for having the angels of God here with us because they assist us in healing. So thank you, and by faith as she looks to Jesus as the great physician, I pray that she will not get sick anymore in this area, and that this remedy, blessed by God, will bring her great relief. I pray this in Jesus' name, amen. This concludes our hydrotherapy demonstration for the day. Thank you for joining us, and we'll be back again to teach you some simple natural remedies that you can use in your home for yourself, for your children, and maybe you'll be your own doctor. God bless you. Bye-bye.